that brings us neatly to a topic I've been looking forward to kind of talking with chat and stuff for quite some time now. And that is like
Yes.
getting them on board with like picking a part for our car, and eventually, hopefully someday we can get to a chat built our car. Like we sit here, we have a budget, we say, here's what we want to do, and kind of go from there. I really like the idea of chat getting into kind of helping us modify our cars, being more engaged with the channel, being able to sit here and go like, hey, we picked that, in the car when we do kind of do the long form videos. I guess starting with your kind of idea of, we're going to start with Justin's submission for a wing, and that is, this is a straight GT350 wing, I think he said. That's kind of look from the other side. That is subtle. That is street. That's kind of going with your kind of mindset of keeping it within the family kind of a thing, right? Like, this came on a Mustang,
Right.
therefore it should fit on a Mustang, stylistically speaking, of course.
Sure. I wouldn't even call that OEM plus. I would just call that OEM
Right.
because
It's
it came
OEM.
on a Mustang. It was made for a Mustang.
Yeah, it's just
That's
made for a
that's just
higher
an OEM
trim
wing.
level of Mustang. We're looking at kind of a OEM option. Next up is, I'll go with Hanson's submission because it is the exact opposite. So when I talk to chat, right, when I put the thing up, hey guys, help me pick a wing, send pictures, send links, that sort of a thing. I also did the same thing to Greg, and Greg was like, nope, that first option you mentioned, that's me, and took kind of the easy way out. And Hanson was a little more engaged, and well, this was his submission: a forged carbon fiber swan neck rear wing, which I gotta admit I kind of like. Don't necessarily like the end caps per se. I do like I really wanted to do all this stuff in forged carbon,
No,
but
that looks terrible.
this.
It got me on a Mustang. That looks
See, the
horrible.
thing is let me see if I can find the picture. The picture that makes this a big time no for me is how far it hangs back. Right, so like you see so much of the support not covered by end cap or anything like that. It's just, that's a bit
Yeah,
much.
it's not even that. It's just it doesn't look like it belongs on a Mustang.
It
It just
it
doesn't.
doesn't look like it belongs there. It doesn't look like, it's just so over the top. Like
No,
I don't mind big
it's
wings, as we
bad.
will get to, but it's too big. Like one of the things that like Pikes Peak and like the World Time Attack stuff that really
Hmm.
is difficult for me to get, like, it's the thing kind of holding me back from falling completely head over heels in love with that form of motorsport, is the fact that the wings look like, if you flip them upside down, you could bolt them to the side of a freaking 747 and take off. It's just
Yes.
disproportionately large to the car itself, and for me,
Yeah.
that's the issue with this one. Steve goes, that looks like a shopping cart. I mean, it certainly has enough material. Mark Anthony goes, that first one, but NASCAR style with some turnbuckle adjustment. I did look at the equivalent of duckbill spoilers. I'd want it integrated, and I haven't found one integrated that I like. I do find there
Hmm.
are some spoilers out there that I kind of dig that actually have the clear plexiglass cutout. So visibility, I think that's what it's there for. I personally am leaning more towards an actual wing. My original thought with the Mustang, and we'll go to, it's like, so here, this one right here, this is the duckbill,
This is like a full CF trunk with a duckbill.
right? And it looks cool from like this angle. I'm not a fan of how it looks like it folds over and over itself. Like if it was more integrated to
Yeah.
the rear
No.
here, I'd be kind of more on board with it. That was what led me to something like this.
Which is what I wanted.
This is the vote submitted by the son of Greg's GT350R wing. Now, there's a couple companies that do it. This is Sigala Designs. Benefit to this is that the carbon fiber weave on this will match the carbon fiber weave on, spoiler alert, the roof.
Which is what the way it should be.
100%. Like, that's kind of a big deal for me, just to have that continuity. The problem with
That
trying to
just looks
keep
awesome.
that, this is just a really good look. Downsides for me, it looks awesome. I love the carbon fiber. These little end plates here, I had intention of putting like some form of shifting lanes branding on it. One side be the main channel, one side be Shifting Lanes Garage, which if you're watching it on YouTube. And yes, Justin, I completely agree with you. There's no such thing as too much carbon fiber. Hence why my car is going to have a lot of it. Ironically, the first carbon fiber part you're not going to be able to see. You know, the thing with these, and like I said, I love the look of it. I'm a big fan. I don't want to get so caught up. Now, this is Sigala. Anderson Composites, which basically makes carbon fiber stuff for all pony cars. But they make a crap ton for Mustang, as you will see. The thing with this is that my concern is that, yes, it looks awesome. I'm hoping it adds downforce. There's something a lot of people, when it comes to picking wings and aero bits for their cars, just out of pure vanity. One, there's balance, right? You got to figure if I have too much downforce on the back, the front end's going to get light at higher speeds. Or in some cases, they just add drag. And in worst case scenarios, some of them have actually been known to add lift. So these, I've done some digging. They do add some downforce and stuff like that, which is good because I don't want to add too much. Because again, the balance of the car will be off. Like Steve says, good downforce to avoid the crowd. Difference is not an idiot behind the wheel.
This is a replica of the GT350R wing, right?
Right.
Right. So Ford is not going to put a part on their car that would be improper. So to me, this is why this is my vote, because this will add functionality with being OEM plus or tastefully modded appropriate, and will still keep true to like what a Mustang GT350, GT500 would be, right? So like to me, this is the best option.
I'll be honest, this is kind of the leader in the clubhouse. Let me see what the next one is. So this is the same thing, but a GT500 wing.
Which for me would be number 2 option.
Which I'm starting to like a little bit more and more. So here's the reason why like a 350R wing is appealing to me. Because I like the idea of GT500 up front, GT350 out back. So if you kind of average that out, you're somewhere in the low 400s. Why is that low 400 important? And 2 completely made up numbers by Carroll Shelby. Well, actually, 350 was just the distance between his shops. That's really where 350 came from, and 500 was 150 more for reasons. So for me, why being somewhere in the early 400s makes a lot of sense. And I don't know if I've mentioned this in chat yet. If I haven't, ding, 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 spoiler alert. But the Mustang, when we start doing the build, I'm going to announce this to the YouTube masses, but the Mustang is now internally what we're calling Project 412. What is the significance of 412, you ask? 412 is my father's birthday. So I am building this car in honor of my father. So that it will be the Mustang 412. I don't know if I think it's I want to go 412 GT or GT 412. I haven't decided the exact nomenclature, but right now it is Project 412, and I will have custom badges 412 on the side of the car. So that's why, like, the idea of 500 up front, 350 in the back makes a lot of sense to me. That said, you saw that I brought this picture of Mr. Block up. It's without getting down a path of what exactly this man I never met actually meant to me as an enthusiast and things like that, which was a lot. My brain started racing. So this is obviously the Unicorn V2, one of my most favorite liveries of all time. Well, I also happened to go down a path that led me to an S550 in that livery. I know this kind of isn't the sort of subtle thing Greg was mentioning, but I was thinking that would be pretty damn cool to wrap my car in like that. Make no mistake, I would get rid of the monster stuff. I might even just keep it sans logos or have subtle Shifting Lanes branding on it. You know, maybe instead of the monster logo, we have a Shifting Lanes or whatever. But at any rate, I want to do, like, it'd be cool to have something built to honor my father, inspired by Ken in some way. So with that
that's cool.
being said, the other wings, okay, but like if you notice, he's got a pretty aggressive, well, this render, I'm pretty sure it was done in Gran Turismo if the thing on the front windshield didn't give it away. But that led me down the rabbit hole of an APR wing, which is CF. I love these wings that have like kind of the bump in the middle. It just does it for me.
Yeah, but that's not a park bench though, and that's different than the swan neck one you were looking at.
Right.
and
to be fair, that was
isn't
Hanson
as
submission.
GT3 as that rendering from Gran Turismo.
Right.
So like to me, like this is actually a nice melding between a crazy GT3 style wing and sort of like a GT350R wing. So like this actually I would be on board with because it looks cool. It's carbon fiber, and I do agree with you. I like the wings that have the bump in the middle, and it's also functional because you're getting downforce from the sides, the side plates, but you're also getting downforce from the middle as well as letting air through the back, giving you sort of a wing diffuser effect a little bit because you're still getting airflow over the top for functionality of downforce, but you're also letting air underneath it to be able to flow more freely between the wing and the trunk to not necessarily have greater downforce, but to just get better airflow over the back of the car. You won't unsettle it as much.
Right. And another upshot to this is I basically end up with documented downforce. So they know that this was a wing designed for downforce. So, and it's adjustable. I think it's the plates on the inside. I don't remember off the top of my head, and I don't want to bog the whole video down by trying to figure it out. But this one has documented downforce, and again, that can be adjusted. That if I decide to go down the path of doing a car for dad inspired by Ken Block, I feel like this would be the wing to choose just because it fills that look a little bit, right? I'm still 350, 500 this, right? The next one is in the same vein, just the more, I don't know what the best word to describe it is, but it's more of just a subtle, no end plates, more like modern supercar styling, that kind of pop up. This one I like, it's simple. It has like kind of a classic look to it. It's obviously not as racy, but it still kind of gives the same image. Side note, if you're a Mustang owner and you put the Ford GT taillights on it, you should be excommunicated. The triple taillight is as Mustangs. Like, we understand.
Yes, it needs to have a triple tail. It cannot have that.
So that is also an option as far as like a wing that does the job that isn't pure race bred. It kind of sits in the middle. And then lastly, and this is the most arguably subtle of the options, is this one.
Ooh, that's nice.
I like this one because it's kind of like a 500 wing. It's kind of like a 350 wing met in the middle. If I had to say, of the ones I'm entertaining, this is at the bottom of the list, but it is still a good look.
Yeah, I would agree. It looks okay. I would say that the Sigala one looks better because it's more of a GT350R replica. Also, this looks like it doesn't have as much functional downforce as the other one. It looks cool. It's like a GT350R-ish kind of wing, but I would agree. I would say that the lip is probably the bottom of my list, followed by the spoiler lip. So lip meaning like full carbon fiber trunk that you showed, then the GT350 spoiler lip, then this are probably my bottom three.
I think I'm between, if sitting here talking it out. So I'm actually going to put together a poll, and I'm going to have the three options I like, and then we're going to kind of figure it out, because like my original plan, if it wasn't for the whole going down this route, my original plan, if I was going to do a livery at all, I was going to do a sort of Lark livery, like DDE has on their 720 GTR, and like McLaren had on their race cars back in the day. So I want to do a poll, see where you guys are getting at. I might even, when it comes time to make this into a full-fledged YouTube video, I might even kind of make a short with a link to it